Finally, it is time. The wait is finally over. We are on the next gen version of NBA 2K21. What up, internet? Your boy JV is in the building, and allow me to introduce to you NBA 2K21 Next Generation. The day that I'm recording this is November 10th, 2020, the same day that the new Xbox Series was released, which is where this video and all the gameplay and the features and other things that we're gonna get into is coming from. Even looking at the main menu here was kind of fire, how like they switched it up. In each of the modes you can see like in the background some possessions and like cutscenes from them, which is pretty cool. I'm not even gonna lie. I like how they really tried to make it like a totally new game. Well, for the most part. But now we're just looking at some gameplay of me playing against some people and playing online. Basically just getting some play time on the game and just trying to get a feel out of the atmosphere of this version of 2K. So before we get started, if you are new to the channel, good looks for popping out. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. If you want an in-depth breakdown of what my channel is about, I'll leave the suggested card of my first video up to the top right of the screen. So it's been a while since I've done a video like this. I believe the last time I've done this was actually when I was giving my thoughts and impressions on the current gen of this game a month and some change back. The things that I said in that video will more or less be kind of reiterated in a way on this video as well, with the exception of the changes that we have transitioning into this version of NBA 2K21. So I guess you can consider this as a proper follow-up to that video, but not really. It is, but it isn't. I've only been playing this game for several hours, so in terms of a final verdict on this game, I don't necessarily have one yet, but let's talk about some of the changes that we have on the next gen version. Starting off with the graphics. I gotta say that the graphics on this game is very nice, very clean, everything looks smooth, and it's actually pretty scary that it looks more lifelike than ever before. It really put things in perspective when you compare the current gen and the next gen graphics side by side. It's crazy, son. I saw so many pictures on Twitter and Instagram where it showed players like LeBron, Curry, Kobe, rest in peace, Damian Lillard, Zion, in comparison to each other from the current gen and the next gen, and it's honestly like night and day. I swear to God. I know that people like to say about how like every year 2K focuses on the sweat more than anything in terms of like the graphics and stuff, which is such jokes, but I honestly think that the graphics looks great in this game. Even the crowd in the stadiums looks really lifelike, and it just makes everything pop more. My only complaint about the graphics though, and I'm not sure if it's just me, but I think that overall like the graphics, it kind of lacks like saturation. Like the color isn't really there, you know what I mean? Like the colors look a little dull and gray. Like I noticed it when I was playing with the Lakers and the Trailblazers, that like the jerseys look like stale. It just looked really weird to me. I don't know why, but that's like the only negative that I was able to really pull out in terms of the graphics. And who knows, maybe that'll change in the future. The next change that I kind of want to discuss is how the gameplay feels just a tiny bit slower from what I remember. In the current gen version of this game, I said in my impressions video that like I liked how the gameplay was a bit faster in comparison to some other 2Ks, and it just felt like the game's overall pacing was taking a step up. And now I feel like on this version of 2K21, it kind of went a step back in pacing. Certain things that I was able to get away with before were more or less difficult to do this time around, and I just always felt that 2K is better when the tempo is at a high level. When everything is really fast paced, I think that's when 2K is at its best. Maybe it was just me that had this feeling, I don't necessarily know, but if that's the case, I'll just have to adapt to what's in front of me. Some controls were changed up a little bit in terms of calling isolation and making adjustments on the fly in certain games. I did notice that when I was playing. Usually things like that will always change in like every 2K that comes out. Like in 2K19, like I think you had to press left on the D-pad and then A to call a quick isolation. And then in 2K20 and 2K21 on current gen, you had to press LB and A to do it. Like every time like the controls for like certain things kind of change. I don't know why they do that. I guess sports games do that in order for you to like really just try to get a feel of a new game instead of just doing the same thing over and over again. Those are just some general examples for you to understand what I really mean. But I think that when you go from the current gen to the next gen version of the exact same game, they would change it up like that. I didn't think they was gonna do that. I thought it was sort of unnecessary, but I just chalked that up to 2K just trying to have us adapt to the new gen version as a whole, including controls. So it's not really a big deal. That actually can segue to what I wanted to say next, which is the dribbling. The dribbling on this version of the game isn't bad by any means to me. Let's just get that out the way. It's not bad at all. I still think that it's doing good this time around compared to other 2Ks in the past, but I did notice that on this version that they changed up a few things. There are certain things that you have to do differently. For instance, when I tried the momentum dribble like the traditional way, it wasn't working. And I was thinking to myself, like, why isn't it working? Like, did they take out momentum dribbling of the game or something? Same thing when I tried to do the explosive behind the back. I was asking the same thing, like, did they take it out? Which is, I don't understand. Which is, by the way, amazes me that they didn't even patch it yet. Because in 2K20, when the explosive dribbling was out in the game, woo, they wasted no time doing that. But back on course. Usually when a new 2K comes out, this is what I do every year. I go into the freestyle mode in 2KU, which is like what you're seeing on screen, and I just dribble around and shoot around for at least 15 to 20 minutes. And the reason as to why I do that is because I'm mainly trying to get a feel for what the game is going to be like, for what, like, how dribble combos work, what types of dribbling causes super speed boosting, is the shot meter good or not, basically just trying to feel the ins and outs of like offensive play. So when I was dribbling, I was slowly starting to figure out that in order for you to do these certain moves that I mentioned earlier, you have to really flick your analog in a different direction to do it. Usually it'll be like towards the left or towards the right, depending on where the ball is on your hand, what animation you're doing prior to the setup of the move, etc. But I was oddly finding success when I was flicking the analog stick upward to do these animations, and that was weird to me. It's just gonna have to be another thing to adapt to. There's gonna be a lot of that for this game, adapting. But overall, the dribbling is still pretty solid. They didn't mess it up yet, and it's looking really good. The next thing I want to cover is the My Player Builder. This is where it gets spooky. Earlier, before the release of this game, 2K was showing us like certain blogs. I think it was like a 3-day blog of the things that we're gonna expect to get into in this game, showing us the builder and how it's completely different from the current gen and 2K20. They completely removed pie charts, and they give you a lot more creative control on how you want your player to be. There's a lot of different things you can do and work on that you were limited on before, which I thought was dope. On screen, I was just messing around with the attributes that I wanted because I really liked the build that I had on the current gen version of this game. He was nice, I'm not even gonna lie. So I was trying to see if I could build him again, and if not, at least a close similarity of who he was, of what that build was. So I hope I did when I was making this build. In terms of the attributes that you see, the two main things that you want, just off common sense really, is your stamina and your speed. Before you touch anything else, I think that's the most important ones. You do not want your player to be mad gas before they even reach half court. That's not wavy. Moving on to the takeover badges, this is what caught my attention the most, was the fact that there are multiple versions of takeovers that you can choose from, and the fact that you have 2 of them. I think that's really cheesy if I say so myself. So I went with the ankle breaker as my first one, and then limitless for my second. I thought that was the best combination for the build that I made. Gonna have to mold this player into a demigod, which is gonna take some time, but we're good, don't worry about all that. A small thing for this game that I wanted to point out that I thought was pretty cool was that they added a few more hair designs for your My Player, or at least designs that I think are new. I personally never seen these hairstyles before, but my memory is trash, so I could be chatting if these are new designs or not. Moving on to the city, not the park, the city. I thought that this change was extremely dope. Fire. Having rival affiliations again, and the rental courts, just everything is taken to another level tenfold. It's actually pretty crazy. I haven't experienced it fully yet because I'm in the grinding process for my build, and I'm still in the rookie area where, as you can see, but best believe it's gonna get crazy. I just hope that the servers will be able to handle such a big change. Other little things that I wanted to bring up revolves more on the play now section of the game, which for those of you who have been subscribed to me for a while should know that that's my favorite game mode. I can literally play that game mode for hours. It's honestly like crazy. But I thought that they were gonna change up how the matchmaking was set up in terms of like having to pick a team, not know what you're going up against until your team is picked, and like the tier system and things like that. But all of that is still the same, so I guess it's whatever. It's disappointing for me, but I also understand the fact that Play Now Online isn't really a popular game mode at all. It actually gets overshadowed by almost all the other game modes. I'm not sure about my GM though. I'm pretty sure no one plays that, and if you do, then you're a better man than I am, because I'm never gonna play that game mode. We are gonna holla at that one. My GM could keep his head up. I also noticed during these games that charging fouls are a lot more frequent in this game too. But the funny thing is that it's not like the opposing player is purposely trying to do it either. It's weird. It's like you can be playing normal defense and then it just happens kind of sporadically. Happened on a few times for me and against me. I don't know if that was intended to be like that, but who knows. But for now, that's all I really have to share on the next gen version of NBA 2K21. It's going to consume a good percentage of my time to really experience everything that has to offer. It's all overwhelming if we're keeping it a stack. Just wanted to let y'all know that there's going to be a ton of content coming from me in this game. Gonna continue to where I left off on the Play Now Online series. The last Play Now video was the Houston Rockets, I believe. so I have to check in the comment section to see what is the team that I have to use in the next one. Can't wait to get back on that groove. Videos on the city are definitely going to be in the mix of that as well. I have a few ideas regarding that game mode that I think is going to be really fun to showcase for you guys. It's going to be lit. We made it to the next gen. I honestly didn't even think we'd get here. So if you made it this far and enjoyed the video, again, just want to say thank you for pulling up. I appreciate everyone that comes through and watches the content. Please be sure to leave a like on the video, drop a comment your thoughts on the next gen version. If you love it, if you hate it, or you haven't gotten it yet because you're still waiting, or if you're just on the fence, you still don't know where your verdict is at, things like that. And subscribing if you're new. Those elements help a brother's channel to grow. If you want to see more of my content, thumbnails will be placed at the end screen of this video. They are clickable via desktop or mobile. And if you still need more content, consider checking out the entire channel to peep all of my videos. And tap the bell icon after subscribing, you'll never miss a video again. This is JV, signing off. Be easy, y'all.